Alrighty guys, May Madness continues with the miniatures here. Showed off, not even, I think Monday or Friday, I can't remember, but I did the video on the white coats, on the pikemen. I spent essentially all day Monday. I had ran out of miniatures, so all day Monday I assembled miniatures for painting. So I got the first 32-man unit of the Sparabara, minus that one dude. He's going to be a flag bearer. I found out that is a deficiency in the Ward Games Atlantic's Persians versus the Vitrix. They do not have flag bearers. They don't have standards, which kind of sucks. They have a musician, and then obviously you can make a commander out of whoever you want. And every sprue has a musician for some reason. I think that set would be much served by having one or two dedicated command sprues. But with that said, I think I got some extra bits. I'm going to use a Roman cohort standard, or an Etruscan standard, something like that. It looks similar enough, and then just kind of kit bash it together to make that work. I settled on 32-man Sparabara units. I haven't exactly worked out what size basing I'm going to do on those. The reason why is it's just going to be easier for sword point. It'll be just fine for Hail Caesar, and then it'll be good for sword point. So that way I could have 40 by 40 bases. So essentially we're looking at 4 times 2, 8. So you're looking at 8 40 by 40 bases of infantry. Make it nice and tidy. The first rank is guys with spears and spara. The second, third, and fourth are, well, the second and third are a mixture of guys with bows, and then guys with their bows sheathed with their axes out, and then the last rank's just straight up bowmen. So at least for my first unit of Sparabara, that is going to work. I'm sure that'll change once I actually get my Vitrix kits, because the rest of the Sparabaras, I have 3 Sparabaras planned. One are going to be Immortals. The other 2 are just going to be line troops, normal Sparabara, satrapal levies, whatever you want to call them. And then obviously I'm going to have spearmen and light troops and cavalry on top of that. But I'm going to do 3 Sparabaras. It's going to be the backmen of my early Achaemenid army. And then obviously later the Sparabaras will disappear for the Alexander period, be replaced by guys with aspices. And then those are the first, that is my 16-man unit of skirmisher archers. I'm going to have a unit of slingers and a unit of archers. I did the half tracks there. They're all ready. Yeah, it was an assembly day, because unfortunately, how I kind of do it is I'll spend a day or two just prepping 30 or 40 or 50 miniatures, and then I'll paint them all, and then when I'm done I'm like, oh shit, I literally don't have anything to paint. Let me go clean up metal miniatures or assemble plastic miniatures. And so that's where I'm at with that. So yeah, but anyways, on to the meat and potatoes of this show here. This is what I tried doing here. My first time doing Scottish Argyle clothing there. Just want to focus on that guy. See if we can't block it out. I have autofocus on, unfortunately. But yeah, I did 2 different patterns. Didn't want the blue and the red. So this is what I did. Not a lot of videos on there. I'm painting Scottish Argyle. So I kind of just looked at some pictures and kind of just, improvised my own method here. But what I did is I base coated whatever the hell they call these things in gray, a darker gray, medium gray, and then I put down the red in squares, and rough looking squares, quotes on that, heavy emphasis, and then I did a cross pattern either with the blue or the yellow, depending on the one you're looking at. My wife thinks the red and yellow one turned out better. My eyes are a little, oh come on, is it gonna try and do this in handheld mode here? It stinks. There we go. I don't know how good the blue one is. Damn autofocus. Oh, there it goes. That's the blue one. That's the yellow one. And then I did a cross pattern either with the yellow or the blue, and I left a little bit of the gray on each one showing through for contrast purposes. So there's a little bit of the dark gray showing through on all of them. You know, that's bordering the red and the red and the cross patterns. Yeah, I don't know if I like this method, and it's hard because obviously there's a lot of folds and bends in how they're wearing these Scottish articles of clothing, which I don't know what they're called. I am not a Scottish historian by any means. You know, I know a little bit about Scottish military history. You know, like Bannockburn and Robert the Bruce. Obviously, that's pretty famous in pop culture. And then you got obviously their role in the English Civil War, and then the last rebellion of theirs in the 1700s, whose the name of the war is escaping me for some reason. But yeah, I don't. So, and you're wondering, well, hold on, he's doing a Royalist Army. Why does he have Scots in there? So this is the first, you know, 2/3 of my last 40-man regiment. So you can see here I'm doing them in the light blue. They're going to be Ralph Hampton's regiment from the west. So I talked about in the previous video, I'm not just doing a straight coherent force. I'm kind of just picking and choosing from regiments I want to do, because in the end, to play through the campaign book, me and Holy Diver are going to have to mix match our troops and everything else just because of the troop numbers that are required. But I really liked Hampton as a figure, and I really like the Western campaign, even though the majority of my troops are going to be, you know, from the Marston Moor period, more or less. But yeah, so I'm doing these guys as the light blues for Hampton, and in the West, once the Royalists were able to secure their position in Ireland, they brought over a bunch of the veterans from the Irish campaigns. They were really veteran regiments. And from what I read, you know, because that had been going on before the English Civil War, there were a lot of Scottish volunteers in those regiments. So, so my logic here is there's going to be some Scots mixed in with this regiment. There's a Scottish contingent in this regiment, hence why we got some Scottish flavored troops. The real reason why I'm doing that, and I think that at least is a coherent argument for the basis of this regiment. The real reason why I'm doing it is that the eBay salvage guy had 6 of these Scottish musketeers, and I didn't want to waste them. They're good figures, and so I bought another 6. And then another 6 of the other ones, because Perry only makes, actually they only make a Scottish pack, 1 Scottish pack with the early war musket rest, and then 1 regular pack with the musket rest, all at shoulder arms marching. So that's my thought there, is that for my 24 musketeers of this 40-man regiment, I wanted them all to have the musket rest, to represent, you know, the more veteran status. They were earlier formed troops from before the war. They had better equipment, more equipment, and yeah, so they're all more uniform. And yeah, and I did the trousers and the jackets in the light blue. I scoured the internet, and all the reenacting photos I've seen of dudes portraying the Hampton regiments, they all seem to have both the light blue and trousers and jackets there. So that's kind of what I decided. And all the pikemen are the heavily armored variant with the skirts and the cuirass and the helmets. So once again, to represent that veteran nature of the unit. Now, I also read that a lot of the regiments from the Irish campaign actually didn't have pikes, and it was an issue because they were all musketeers, and as they were fighting in mainland Britain, you know, they had to acquire pikes and slowly integrate pikes into their formation because they were heavily musketeered regiments. So playing a little fast and loose with the history here. I typically don't do that, but for the sake of getting this unit, of utilizing what I have and getting it on the table, I've kind of bent the road. So we're going to have You know, there's a Scottish contingent within this regiment. I don't think it would have been too crazy. Obviously, these troops were raised before 1742 and sent to Ireland and been fighting there. So I don't think it's too crazy to say, oh yeah, there were some Scottish volunteers in that force. These guys are better equipped. So yeah, as far as painting, I'm only like 30% done, but I did the really light blue, and then I didn't actually do a brown or a black wash on them. I did a blue wash because the blue was a little too light. I just used the Army Painter green, blue tone. It's just a blue wash, diluted it slightly, probably 80-20 with the wash mixing medium there, and put it on there, and it gave good shadowing in the recesses. It made it a little bit of a deeper blue instead of a more pastel-y chalky blue, which was good. It does have a little bit of a more glossy finish to it, but I'll dull that down with my when I put the matte varnish on there, that'll dull it down just fine. So not too worried there. So I'll have 2 more of these Argyle guys to paint, these guys with the Scottish clothing here to paint up when they get in here from the Perry's order. I'll probably do one in yellow again and one in the blue again with the red, both with the red there. So a little bit of a winded video for me, but we're painting. This is 28 miniatures. I hope me moving the camera isn't too nauseating here. I'm holding it. But yeah, so these guys, I'm really hoping to get these guys cranked out in the next 3 days. We almost got all the main colors blocked in. I'm about ready to start on gloves and weapons, and then obviously the accoutrement for the musketeers here, where they hold all their powder and shot there. I'm going to start on that kind of thing. But yeah, so I mean, we're pretty much, all the main colors are blocked in, and now it's just picking out the detailed work. So yeah, as normal, please leave any comments. If you guys have any suggestions on how to do Scottish clothing, I'm definitely open for suggestions. I know some of you guys have probably done a lot of it, especially in the Napoleonic era. With the what are they called? Not the Coldstream Guards, the Black Watch. Man, my memory, man. Yeah, with the Black Watch guys. So yeah, let me know. Any comments are greatly appreciated. I like seeing other perspectives on my army. So until then, guys, keep on painting. Enjoy your hobby time.